Hey everybody, it's good to see you guys. Happy Monday. I just got back from a run, which seems to be my theme lately for Facebook Live check-ins. That I get all these inspirations while I'm out running. So good to see you guys, and would love for some of us to figure out how to get running together again. Which makes me think about how complicated things seem to be getting, right? I mean, when everyone was hunkered down, it seemed a little easier to be in this stage of our life. But now it's getting a little grayer. Things are not as clear. You know, a lot of us are ready for our lives to be back to normal. I think everyone's lives ready for our lives to be back to normal. And some of us are getting back out there, going and doing and trying to resume life as normal. And some of us are staying in and staying put. And so it's, you know, we've got this gray area now that is a little bit more difficult. It makes it harder to know what the right thing to do is. And it has made us ask a lot of questions. The St. Luke staff is asking all of, I think, the right questions, if I could be so bold as to say that, about how we now walk together and how we can best minister to one another and what it is that we need to be doing right now. So this week in our check-ins, you're going to hear a lot about that, about how to live in the gray and walk with one another in the gray. You're going to hear a lot about perseverance, inclusion, making hard decisions, some talk about grace, I hope. It got me thinking while I was running today that a lot of, you guys know that I love to run long distances. I love half marathons. That 13.1 miles is a perfect distance for me because I have to work for it, and it doesn't come easy, but yet it's a manageable distance for me when I train and that sort of thing. And I think about how running with people. I have some good running friends, and running with my family in those distances. And the rule is you run as fast as the slowest runner. You make a commitment, or at least we do. We make a commitment to stay together because we run not for the time, but for the experience. And so I can think of so many times when Allison Valdez, who is one of my best running partners, there have been times when I have been slap dab worn out, and she encourages me to keep going. And there are times when the same is true for her, and I am the one who slows down and keeps us going. And I think about the first and only full marathon, the first 26 miles race that I ever ran. Don and I ran it together at, of course, my favorite place, Walt Disney World. And, I was trained. I was so prepped and ready to go and feeling so good about it. It was in January. And so, I had lots of great running weather. The only thing that I did not train for was running in 85-degree weather. I hadn't prepared for that. And so we were doing great. And Don, of course, can run circles around me and run I ever thought about running, and run longer than I ever thought about running. But we were doing great. Mile 15, I'm telling you guys, I thought that I was the winner of the world. I mean, really. Mile 15, we both looked at each other. I'm like, this is so great. And then 19 came. And I stopped and I went into the restroom, thinking that I had to go to the bathroom, just a simple pit stop. It wasn't anything big. But while I was in the restroom, I came out and I told Don, I'm dizzy and I think I'm going to throw up, which he knew were warning signs that my body was telling me that something was wrong. And so we got immediately to a first aid station, and they said, it's hot, it's all these things. You can either stop now and we can have somebody, you can get the bus to the finish line, or you can do these things and keep running and keep going. And so if you know me, my response was, I'm going to do those things and keep going. So meaning those things were walk and not run. Those things were drink the salt stuff that they gave me to drink. Stop and put cold sponges over my head all the time, and finish walking. Don was pretty sure that I should have stopped. And I gave him permission to go on, but that I wasn't going to stop, that I was going to be really, really slow, but I wasn't stopping. He stayed with me. He walked with me, and he got a kick out of the fact of when we were supposed to meet up with the girls and some friends who were there, that suddenly I started running a little bit to not look weak, I'm sure is what my head was telling me. And to look like I was having a good time, because I didn't want them to think I was struggling, but I was. And but something in me said to keep going, and part of it was Don staying with me. So that's sort of the metaphor that I've got in my head right now, is how do we stay walking side by side in the midst of this, when now it's harder now than it was a month ago, because we have to make harder decisions, and we have to decide for ourselves what those right decisions are. Now, of course, as a church family, we're making some decisions about staying the course of not worshiping in person together, and easing into getting back together when that time comes. And those are hard decisions to make, because places are not doing the exact same path that we are following. But we just have to remember with one another to meet each other where we are, to walk along aside one another, and to try to encourage and support and do the best that we can with what we've got and with the knowledge that we have in this individual circumstances that we have. So you're going to hear this week a lot about how to walk alongside each other, how to live in this particularly gray area that seems to perhaps get more grayer as the day goes and as the information comes in. So be on the lookout for that. If you have ideas about how to do that and ways that you've been practicing it in your life, we want to hear that and know and how we can support you. I just had a conversation with one of you yesterday about how it's getting hard because you've got friends who are doing things that are different than what you feel like you and your family should be doing. And so we need to support one another, whatever those decisions are, about how to care for one another and how to encourage one another, and try not to judge one another or others in the world as we do this, but yet still be able to keep ourselves in what we feel is a safe environment. So I want to close with a reading from Colossians, from the third chapter. It's a verse that I use a lot in weddings, actually, because it's a good thing for couples to practice and to hear, and it's a really good thing for all of us in this point in the world especially to live out and to hear. And it says this: "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, with kindness, with humility, with gentleness and patience, and bear with one another and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against somebody, forgive as the Lord forgave you." So friends, we do love you and we desperately miss you, and we're so glad when you check in with us and on Facebook and on Zoom and in all those many different ways. Thank you for the way that you're loving each other and you're caring for each other and you're keeping one another in your thoughts and your prayers. And y'all just, when all of this is done, we're going to be back together again, and we've got one another. God's got us. And so take good care of yourself. Do what you need to do. And we'll see you soon. All right. Love y'all. Bye.